Have a favorite episode as a critic or a favorite episode as a fan?
Well, that's an interesting distinction to make.
Without the show, there would not be The Shield, there would not be Mad Men, there would not be Breaking Bad, there would not be all of these
Deadwood,
things.
Game of Thrones.
The Wire,
Yeah.
you know, The Americans.
Nothing.
None of this.
The Sopranos was one of TV's most popular shows of all time. Critics loved it, audiences loved it, and now fans can get some special insight into the show thanks to Sopranos Sessions, a special theatrical triple feature. A unique look at the show from 3 different perspectives.
We're joined by Kristen Fraga, the director of The Sopranos Sessions, and Vincent Curatola. He played Johnny Sack on The Sopranos. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you both. Hey, you know, I'm always curious. I'm just rewatching The Sopranos again. It started in '99. I can't believe it's been over 20 years. It's been off the air for 15 years. What do you attribute the length and the longevity of the appeal of this show?
Christian, go ahead.
Well, this is I think one of the keys to The Sopranos. That the more I researched it, the more I discovered it while, making these 3 films was, I think what's amazing is that it made us think on about 15 or 20 different levels. But the key was it never told us how to think. And I think that's one of the unique aspects of The Sopranos. It let us, the audience member, come into the show, come into the characters, and really bring what we wanted to think about and discuss as much as what they were giving us.
Why it's not unusual for a documentary to have multiple perspectives. Why did you need to break this out into 3 different films?
Well, I could have made 10 films, and even with that, it wouldn't even scratch the surface of what makes The Sopranos tick. But the key I felt was I wanted to give each one of these perspectives its room to breathe and allow audiences to really think about it. So the first film is My Dinner with Alan. It's with the critics. The second film, The Last Supper, is with the actors. And then the third film, we sat down with David Chase when he was cutting his prequel film, The Many Saints of Newark. And the idea was each film allows this unique perspective. And when you combine it all, it begins to scratch the surface of, like I said, a whole new way of looking at The Sopranos.
So, Vincent, you sat down with some fellow cast members, and did you just rehash your favorite episodes, or how did that go for you?
Actually, I have to tell you something. First of all, it was 14 years. This couple of days will be 14 years we're off the air. We very, very rarely, over all of the seasons, ever really talked about the work. It was never about, what do you think about this scene? Well, why would this character do this? Why would your character say that? We just always shot the breeze. So when we were at Il Cortile Restaurant in Manhattan that night, it was a very comfortable slipper for us. We just, we like to, we've done a lot of traveling together for personal appearances, still do. And it was just, okay, so we're home again. That was the feeling.
Through every generation, there's always that one show that I think other producers look at and say, oh, we can do things like that. Like Hill Street Blues is the example that comes to mind. That was
a great piece of work initially in its time frame. I thought it was stupendous. I really did.
Yeah.
And I think it was because the camera work on Hill Street was fabulous. It was very intimate. Today, whatever you see, first of all, they shoot digitally today. They don't use 35 millimeter film the way we did. And everything today, camera moves are like bump, 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 bump. We didn't do that. We held you in a scene. We made you come in and watch us. There's a big difference to that.
So, Vincent, when you were making this show, did you feel like even early on you were a part of something that was really good? Sometimes as an actor, you don't know if you're a part of something.
No, I had no compunction about it whatsoever. Matter of fact, even as the seasons progressed, it was almost difficult for me to realize that people were actually watching it.
Wow.
Only because I didn't watch it consistently, so I really wasn't aware that other people were watching it as religiously as they were. The only indication I got was, when I would leave my house, and people would just start staring. Then I got it.
Yeah. So, Christian, what did this do for the industry? Why did it pave the way for some of these other shows to do what exactly?
Well, I think one of the keys is that, in my opinion, The Sopranos didn't kind of reinvent anything. They actually created its own sport. They were doing something at a level that had never been done before. It redefined the way, not only how television is made, but I think a key is it taught audience members a whole new way of understanding narrative. And I think that's a key. Now everything that's followed is because of the precedent set on The Sopranos. And it wasn't about cliffhangers and tying up narrative ends per episode. It was all about season arcs. You had to pay attention. There were payoffs. Sometimes there weren't payoffs. Sometimes 3 seasons later, there was a payoff. And I think what David Chase did brilliantly was that, he gave us a show that's about the mob and it's following, the cat and mouse with the feds. But in reality, it's a personal work, and he Trojan horsed a number of things that he really wanted to talk about, whether it was ageism, psychotherapy, racism, family dynamics. That's what the show was about, and that's what The Sopranos did. It kind of allowed all of us audience members to connect with it, and at the same time get sucked into this world that not only that we love to be in, but now everybody's revisiting it. A whole new generation is now capturing The Sopranos, and it's the show that set the standard. So it's going to be interesting to see now, especially with the prequel film coming out, where everything goes.
Right, and how you can stream it now and all at once. Well, anyway, you can see all 3 of these films tonight at 7 o'clock at Landmark Century Theater and Marcus Theaters throughout Chicago. You can go to celebratethesopranos.com for details. Pleasure to talk to you both.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.